Okay, so it is time for a peak summer roundup, and without any major updates in the way of construction projects, what we can do is get into a bit of a detail on the plantings and landscaping strategies, because although I need to move the bus and the shed probably with a crane, I have hardly anyone here at the moment. All three of my cabin areas are now empty for the first time in a few years, so I have a chance to reevaluate what I'm doing here before I start getting more people to come in. So we can have a look over here on the south side. Typically, because I'm not here much and I don't even look at it, there's not too many plans, and it's best left to whoever is going to live here to make it work for them, because overall I'm having a lot of new ideas because I am enjoying the opportunity to improve the place while I have less tenants and be dealing with less issues and considering what is the best way to manage issues that are unavoidable. Just looking at the garden and the landscaping efforts over summer, you get more of a tactical breakdown we can lead into. But it's really covered under the continuing tree planting efforts. Secondly, my enthusiasm for forming up what I call these garden islands here. And lastly, the food arena here, which really shows most of my effort has been to get this whole food area seriously to a point of not so much full yield, but you see my long-term strategies tend to favour cooking up the potential, which is another thing I've had to recognise recently, that when you've got big ideas, you really have to show people what you mean and what you see, or they just won't get it. If you've got big ideas, you must demonstrate, or you can't just explain or describe. So you'll see, even though I don't have the good cash coming in at the moment, I'm holding it down until I can really start showing my stuff around here, and you'll see that's the direction of the garden I'm prepping up and saving energy to drop smart bombs and special attacks, because I need higher level NPCs in here. I need to be able to offer my vassal lords more to attract loyal and capable talent when you're trying to build up your kingdom. So most of my activity has been in this garden arena, just trying to tidy it up and set it up so the tenants can all contribute to doing their food thing, and they can eat whatever it is that's here. You'll see I'm doing a few things just to turn it over. I've planted a lot of raspberries, probably tripled the amount of raspberry space. And here is the first raspberry I transplanted in October. It's already got the berries coming through. And as I mentioned, it's opportunistic. I saw the raspberries thing as a lot of gain for little effort, because there's so much space to let these raspberries run loose, and that's what's happened in this particular garden island right here. The raspberry has gone loose. I've had to rescue a couple of shrubs out of here and forming a tree line back there to defend, but that's the game. Now we know raspberries are going to go wild. I love to eat raspberries every day, but we don't want them swallowing all these shrubs that take a bit longer to get on their feet and produce the nice blooms and foliage. Now I've been absolutely buying up so many discount shrubs because it's an easy way for me to just max out my value for a small amount of money on something that is visually expressive. The garden is an inexpensive way to draw attention to the value here, so I can get better people. The garden will unlock special spells that protect me, but otherwise I'm going to be happy holding this food arena in place as all you'd need to feed everybody on the property if need be, or to start bringing production to a commercial level. That's my idea, to be able to present that option of doing farmers market stuff if anybody here was inspired to do so. So this area is more focused on the development of better facilities, whereas the rest of the property, you'll probably see me smashing hundreds of seeds into these new garden islands forming around the trees, just seeds all around trees I've planted. Silver bee, cabbage, fancy lettuce, just letting them rip everywhere, and it works. There's so much silver beet and lettuce and cabbage everywhere. Really, I'm still just focused on doing the least work for the greatest impact, and as I mentioned, striving a little more to present what is possible rather than just rambling on and hoping that people are going to get the idea. Tree planting has been the major. I've planted dozens of trees since the last episode, but I've been basically focused on the north side here because the west side is a battle for these trees, and what is really boosting me at the moment is seeing my trees all around getting bigger, and slowly the place doesn't feel like a paddock so much. Just slowly the shelter is shifting the vibe now, and I know that more plants are going to be surviving and making it than in the years past because of the sheltered environment. And these things that were basically against me for so many years are now slightly starting to be tamed. So I'm saying, let's do it now. Let's get as many of these trees in as possible, because you can always get rid of them later. Because the first thing we need to do is get rid of all these damn weeds, and we got 2 acres of them. I have been carrying a lot of water to keep them alive in this heat, but with less people here, water's not the same issue. And my garden water tanks are actually doing fine. Obviously last year with floods, this was never an issue, but me being so into my strawberries need water or it won't happen. So doing the strawberry update, I had a major problem with these birds jumping down into my training barracks here for the Red Army until I got my net up, and so I need to be here every day watering these guys to get a punnet, about a punnet a day, and that's okay I guess, but we need more action. I simply don't have enough plants. You'll be familiar with the propagation method. I am slowly expanding my red strawberry army, but we're still pretty early on the curve. I'm barely using this one little light for a small group of strawberries because I know in the months to come the lights are going to be blazing, so that it stays summer for these strawberries. And so the first goal will be having more strawberries than I can eat, and I'm just not there yet. I do eat raspberries and strawberries every day, but not enough to have some left over I don't want, so not really doing much more than holding things at a sustainable level. I'm not projecting much power, that's stored berry power. So really I see in the future I need to start getting way more serious about soil, about moisture, and you know, blazing my lights up here in the sleep out room. And it doesn't stop with berries because there's roses, there's lilies, sunflowers, there's lots of basic prestige flowers that I'm picking up on discount. I'm moving into along that attack line I described: visual impact, shock tactics to overwhelm and dominate. That's what is in my imagination when I see strength and roses and strawberries. It's very tangible projections of value. That's the winning formula for our strategy here. You can't be saying that my shitty beautiful roses suck and my crappy delicious strawberries suck, because they're too powerful to be defeated. And that's the strategy this summer on the FARMLET FARMLETQUEST.